All right, boys and girls, this is our last video that is going to show us how we can construct a coil pot. You're going to start by tearing off a piece of clay and rolling it into your coil. I've showed this in both videos now, so I think you know that you can make a snake with your fingers and your hands. You can use it on your placemat. I like to use my placemat because I like to do this technique. If you notice any cracks or thirsty clay, give it a little dip and wet it. Coiling is actually a little bit harder than you would imagine. It is hard only because the coils sometimes break easily, but it's very easy to construct and do a little surgery with some H2O. So just ever so slightly, let me get this in position here. Dip, smooth. If you see this little crack, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna mask it by doing this. This is gonna be the base of our pottery piece. So I don't think it's gonna be wide enough yet. How do we add on to that? Well, I'll show you how. You're gonna take another piece of clay. This was a piece of clay that I cut away, but it looks like it's gonna be a good coil. So I'm gonna give it a little drink, bring it back to life with that water. We all need water to survive, so does clay. I'm gonna keep coiling it out, and anytime I attach clay, I score, I dip and slip. Then I jiggle, jiggle, wiggle, and I keep on keeping on. So however wide you want your base is how big you're gonna make your coil. When you're done, you're gonna take your finger to smooth this out. This is so that it locks in any little openings, but it's really neat to see on the outside the cool coils that make the pattern. So you can continue to make your coils and start building your way up. Once you have a good amount of coils moving and grooving, you can see, all right, how do I want my shape to look? Is it gonna come out? Is it gonna go up? If I want my coils to come out a little bit, I'm gonna score, I'm going to score, I'm gonna dip, I'm gonna slip, and then I'm gonna jiggle wiggle, you guessed it. Now, when you're placing your coil, if you want it to start coming out like a bowl, I'm gonna start going on the outside of the previous coil. And it's gonna be hard to see until I get enough going. So just bear with me. I'm gonna tear another piece. See how I tear? I just rip. Then I'm gonna start by doing this, showing it's who's boss. Mrs. Stevenson's the boss of you, clay. Then dip. It needs a drink. But remember, less is more. You always can add more, but if you add too much too fast, it gets mad and it'll show you by getting so wet you won't even be able to hold on to it. Use the placemat and continue your coils. I'm gonna get a nice long one. If it starts to get too thin in a spot, concentrate other than that spot, not making it break. Sometimes you need to tippity tap it so it's not getting too flat on one side. Sometimes you just don't know what you need until you start messing around and playing with it. All right, now I have a nice coil here. I'm gonna continue to add it. I'm going to score, score, dip and slip, jiggle, wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. There we go. Now, continue adding up, and I'm going to continue adding out. So do you see how it's starting to, woo, see there? It's starting to kind of splay out. This will come apart if I don't reinforce the inside wall or the outside wall. So this is very important. If you choose to do the coil method, it can be tricky, but you have to make sure, it can also be easy, that you smooth the inside as you go. I wanted to have the coil be visible at the bottom, but if you're at all worried that it won't be together, you can also smooth it. This way you can see the pretty coils on the outside. If you looked at the other example that I showed, I'm going to tear another piece, there was kind of some decorative coils mixed in. You can do that as well. So let me show you what I mean. I'm actually going to break this one, dip, add a little water, and I'm going to continue my clay piece. I want to make some kind of fun decorative ones that go over around. So don't be scared to experiment how you could add some walls this way. So maybe I want to do kind of a, I don't know, a tribal looking, I call this my like accordion maybe fold, I'm not too sure. And I could build my walls up this way using my score slip on the side that way. So the sky is the limit. I think I have given you a lot of demonstrations, and I think now you get to decide and get your hands on the clay and see what method works best for you. Maybe you start one method and you're like, oh, this isn't cool, I don't want to do this, I'm going to do the other one. That is fine. Just make sure that you come back to the videos, pause, play them through. Hopefully when you get your hand on the clay, you'll say, hooray. I really am excited to see all of your projects. When you're bringing them back into school, my recommendation is lots of newspaper around and maybe a soft piece on the inside or bubble wrap. Don't forget, when you're done with your piece, you have to put your name on the bottom so that I can read it. Make sure a grown-up helps you, and also on your Ziploc bag, if it is the size where it could fit in there, you can put newspaper around, but you can also help Mrs. Stevenson by using a permanent marker and writing your name on the bag on the outside. I am so excited for you guys to be working on these over spring break. If you have any questions for Mrs. Stevenson, shoot me an email and I will get back to you. I hope you enjoy making these clay pieces as much as I did. Bye-bye.